Welcome to the channel. Today's episode we get a little bit more work done on the GTR, and I also bought some killer parts, so stay tuned. Alright, so I found a motor for my GTR. It's up in Chattanooga. Let's go get this thing. Alright, so we tried to lift this thing up out of the truck with this engine hoist, and these brackets here, where I've got the chain, it's pushing inward on this bracket, which is putting a lot of pressure on these bolts, and I'm afraid it's going to strip this head, or either crack the head or break something here, the way it's putting pressure on that. So what I've done, I've ordered one of those engine levelers, and it will put pressure on this more directly up than pulling it in. And while we're waiting on that to get here, I'm just going to go ahead and put the tarp back on it, leave it in the back of the truck, and back the truck up underneath the shed there, just to keep this out of the weather. And in the meantime, I'm just going to be sitting here drooling over my new engine. So here's a couple other parts that I picked up off Facebook Marketplace. A couple of black door panels. Now these are in pretty good shape. They're not perfect, but they're in really nice shape. And I only gave $100 for these. So if I end up buying a complete car and it has a black interior and I have two sets of door panels, then I should be able to sell these for what I've got in them. So let's go ahead and get this GTR back in the shop. I'll go ahead and get the rear bumper off and whatever I can get taken off while it's still on the ground, while we're waiting on the lift to open up. So I've got most of the stuff, as you can see here, taken off the back of the car. There's not much left, basically some clips, a few brackets here and there, but for the most part, all this stuff's taken loose. We've got the wiring harnesses all unplugged from inside here, and on the bottom, got them pulled up through the holes. So this harness is ready to go back into the cab of the car so I can get the harness totally out of the car. So I've got to climb back into the cab to pull these harnesses through. And while I'm in there, see this aluminum piece here? I think I'm going to try to take it out. I'd like to have it out before I have the car blasted. I'm pretty sure that it's bolted and glued, but if it's just bolted, we're going to pull the bolts out and see if it comes out. If it doesn't, it's not that big a deal. We can blast it with it in there. But since I've got to climb back into the cab of the car, we're going to go ahead and get suited back up, put our gloves back on so we can minimize how dirty we get, because it's still pretty nasty inside there. So I took all the bolts out of this aluminum piece, and it is not wanting to come out. So it is definitely glued and bolted. And I was told that these pieces were glued and bolted in, but with most glues you can put heat on them and it will release the glue. And I thought that since this car was on fire, that it would have generated enough heat to let the glue release, but evidently it didn't get hot enough. So I've got all the bolts out. I've tried prying, tugging, pulling. I even climbed in the trunk and pushed with my leg to try to push it out. This piece is not coming out, even with the bolts out of it. So it's really not that big a deal. We're just going to have this thing blasted with the piece in. Alright, so we've got all the stuff out of the driver's compartment taken out. We've got it vacuumed out one more time. We even vacuumed out the trunk and got everything out of the trunk. So everything from the top side is taken out. So what's left for us to do now is get this thing on the lift. That way we can start taking everything from the bottom side off, get the suspension off of it, and get this thing on the rotisserie.
If you're gonna fight like the third monkey on the ramp to Noah's Ark, and it done started raining.
Alright, so that's going to be about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, hit that like button. You can also share this video with your friends and subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content. Don't forget to click on the bell icon, that way you'll be notified when the next video comes out. And in the next video on the GTR, we should have this thing on a rotisserie at the media blaster getting blasted. If you have any thoughts or questions, you can leave those in the comment section down below. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya!